Hey everybody, welcome to Hilltop Machine Works. Well, hey guys, it's Tom here. Got a project to video for you guys that you might find a little interesting, and it's a little different than the norm. So let me get out from under the camera and show you what we got to work with. So my buddy dropped off his CJ, nice clean mid-80s CJ, so I figured I'd give you a quick look. This is what we got to work with. Buddy's name is Brian, and he's fixed this up to be basically a not only a daily driver, but you know, weekend warrior where you can go out and do four-wheeling and rock crawling and mudslinging. But as clean as he keeps this one, I don't think he does much mudslinging. But there's this nice sharp looking CJ. He's done an axle swap, so he's running 44 in the rear, and I think he's running 44 in the front now too. Hopefully the camera's picking that up. Not sure about the lighting. He's got a 302 in it, and he had an AOD, but he pulled the AOD out, and now he's running a NV 3550 5-speed transmission. So what he's got for me to do is he's got I guess either he's gonna put these shafts in or he's gonna keep them for spares. So he wants me to press the studs in for him on that, and he brought me a box of goodies. And what we have to do is we're going to relocate the shocks in the rear. So he brought me bottom tabs and put together top tabs. So let me crawl under here and show you what I'm talking about. Excuse the handheld, but that's the best way to do it. So if you notice on the CJs, you know, this is spring under. So the springs are under the axle, and that stud right there mounts to the bottom of the shock, and as you can see, it takes a beating if you do any serious rock crawling. You know, it's a rock catcher right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to relocate that, put the bracket on the axle, get rid of this because he's got new sliders, and then up top, as you see there, we are going to move a tab over to the left of that. It's going to be a little bit taller, so hopefully that'll give them just a little more shock travel. That's the only bad thing about the rear on the CJs, is you don't have that much shock travel. So that's the plan. So it's towards the end of the day, so we're just going to go ahead and do the stud install right now. So I'm going handheld for just a bit, show you kind of what I had set up. Pull the press out a little bit, and I went through my collection of stuff and didn't have what I needed. I tried to use this big old piece right there, but too big. So what I got is I just knocked this out on the lathe, just about 2 inches long, about a 1 1/8 inch diameter, just a piece of 1018 drilled at 9/16. And what I'm doing is I'm sticking it over the stud, and then we're pressing down. So this setup here is I'm pressing on the flange itself to push it down onto the studs. So let me get you guys situated where you can see, and we'll do a couple on camera. Hold on. Okay, let's see if that works for you. Had to turn the fan off, but man, is it hot today, so I ain't gonna do too many on camera. I'm gonna have to just kind of check, make sure we're going down square, and I could use just a smidgen. Alright, let's see if that'll do her. Move my fingers out of the way so you can see, but like I said, like I explained, hopefully you can see her going down good. Let me see here. There you go. How's that? That better? Almost there. I need the two hands. Feels like we're bottomed out. Maybe another tug. Okay. All right, that should be it. So that's what I'm doing. So I'll do all the rest of them off camera, but now you know what the deal is. That's the way to press them on. Is obviously you need an adapter or something to go over them. Press on the flange, and if we were popping these out, it wouldn't be any big deal, because then you just put the ram on the stud and you would just support the flange on two sides and boop boop. You know, if they wouldn't come out with the big sledgehammer. So let me get to it. I'll bring you guys back. Hey guys, we are back on the Jeep project. Going handheld, maybe a little bit shaky. Getting ready to pull the shock off, and hopefully the monitor shows there's enough light, but just in case. So let me try to do all this in one pop. Let me see if I can't move you right here, and then get you down. There you go, and then throw some light on it a little better. So once we get the shock off, this is going to basically get welded on to the axle, and once you buzz it on, then you got this extra stiffener that'll be welded on. So like I said, the bottom's not going to be a problem because we got plenty of room on both the axles. You know, just the top part's going to be tricky here because there's not much room. This side's a little bit better. The other side, I've got a lot of fuel lines and stuff to deal with. So that is the plan. So I'll do a little bit of work, stop and film a little bit, and do it that way. So I'll try to get this thing knocked out. So it won't take too long. It'll take me forever if I try to film it all. So I'll give you guys short updates. Got you over here at the welding table, getting ready to weld these bottom tabs on. Let me stay in frame. These are just universal tabs, so you got to test fit and you know, try it and modify it as needed. And this is the brace that you can add. And checking everything out, looks like I'm gonna have to trim that piece, because we're going to drop this down on the axle at about 7 o'clock. So the shock is going to be up like this, which means if this piece is down here, as the suspension cycles, it's going to hit. So I'm going to have to trim this piece off, and that'll give us all this extra room here, and it'll about hit just about the same time it hits the side. So just something to think about when you deal with these universal brackets. You always got to test and check, and you know what they say, measure twice, cut once. So I'm gonna go get this trimmed off, and we're going to tack this thing together, tack it on the axle, and test fit everything. And then if everything was good, then we'll burn it in. Get some light in there. Alrighty, just finished welding it up. It shouldn't go anywhere. So that is one. We ended up doing it at 7 o'clock. So alrighty, one mount done. Let's get on the other side. Getting ready to start on the second one. know I'm a little short on video footage, but I'm trying to get this thing knocked out, guys. So I'm lucky that I'm able just to film what I can, because I'm on a tight timeline. But this is number 2. See what I was talking about? That stud there that mounts the lower shock. You know, that's the rock catcher right there, and when he's rock crawling, that thing's getting pounded on and beaten. And you can see how she's you know, pointing out towards the rear, so that's why we're putting these brackets on the axle itself to get it up and out of the way. And I think I've got an idea to address this upper shock mount. I think what I'm going to do is fabricate a plate and relocate the stud basically up here, and we can use this existing bracket. I think that'll be easier, and because I don't like the thin stuff that the customer brought me, number one, and number two, that way we don't really have to do any welding, so we don't have to dress trying to move all these lines out of the way. And I don't know how well I can get up in that other side, if you can see it, with the catalytic converter and whatnot. I'm going to be fighting the brake line. I'll have to move all that, so that's just time consuming. So I'll show you what plan we got for this bracket here as soon as I get this other one mounted. Like I said, I showed you the first one. It's easy breezy. We'll just get it tacked up, cleaned up, welded on, and we'll be good. So hang on, guys. Got the old shop fan working for me today. Go back to one of my earlier videos and check out the repair and rebuild on this baby. Yeah, I got this as a free fan, but I had to do a lot of different stuff. Originally I had a motor right here, and that went kaputs, and I got this nice replacement motor, but it wouldn't take the load of the fan blade, so I had to mount it here and do a pulley system, and then build this shaft and put pulleys in, bearings in it. And I got a 2-to-1 ratio there, so she spins about 3,400 RPMs. So it's keeping me cool today. So go back and check out that rebuild video. You guys might like that. And let me turn it on and get back to the homemade AC. Let me get some light in here. Alright, so you guys can see that. Second one is done. Not too bad welding for kind of like out of position, laying on your side. I'll take that. And then customer also wants to change out the U-bolts, and he brought these skid plates that tuck tight to the leaf spring. So that's what we're going to be doing. You're still in frame. Kinda. So it's gonna go like that. Let me move you down. So, but actually right here. So we'll swap that out, and I went ahead and cut the U-bolts off, and I've got it supported with jack stands, so that helped me get a little bit better access to weld this one. I probably should have done it on the second one, but didn't know the customer wanted me to do that at the time. So anyways, making progress, guys, and I'll bring you back when I can. Okay, I'm making a bracket to relocate the shock. Just made a template here. Figured I'd show a little bit of plasma cutting. I'm just trying to knock it out. So here we go. See if I can keep it in frame and get all twisted up here, but we'll give it a shot. Alright, I hope we're still in frame. Let's see here. Yeah, not bad. Using a GoPro, guys, so can't zoom you in. I'm gonna have to walk this radius. Don't mind my big head. It's in the way, and it's hot, so let's get oh, let's go get Jody's TIG finger. What do you think? Let me go find it. Where I stick it at? There it is. Multiple uses, not just welding. Ooh, that's hot. Not the prettiest radius, but I'll clean it up on the belt sander. Let me go get a hammer and bang her out. Hang on. Going a little bit handheld here, guys. I'll show you the bracket, and we throw some white in there if that helps. So trying to use the original mount, so I had to do little welding as possible. I think I am going to add a little bit of brace, a vertical brace to the right of that, and then all I got to do is just a tad bit of welding on the top of that frame, and I can do that from the outside here. So that's the plan, the universal bracket. Just make another one, and it'll just be the reverse of it on the other side. And I do have to see if I can get in there, make a spacer. If I look at that bottom bolt, I could bring it in flush to the shock mount, original one, but it'll put the shock misaligned. So I think I'm just going to make a little aluminum spacer. There's about 700 thou distance in there, so nothing big. Real easy just to turn out a little spacer on the mill, on the lathe. Sorry about that. Been a long day. I gotta go get me some lunch. I'm fading here. That's why my tongue is not working. So that's where we're at. Just give you a quick update. So getting ready to get this bracket done. Just thought I'd show you here. I just well, let me see if I can do this without you guys getting knocked around. Hold on. There you go. What I did is I just turned a couple spacers. Simple operation on the lathe. You guys have seen those. And I needed to space in between on this bottom piece here. So right here, there you go. So she's going in here to make up for that space up there, if you can see where my finger's at. So that's what we got going on. And now we're getting ready to weld the, get this thing on. She's snug as a bug. Getting ready to weld that support on, and we can get these shocks done. Been a long journey dealing with an issue on the bottom. I'll tell you about that, guys, here in a second. See if I can get this nut started on the back side of my left hand. Alrighty there, so oh, tighten here, sorry. Hold on. Come on, shock. Alrighty, so there you go. That's what we got. And I gotta clean the paint off because this bracket is going right here, just to make sure we don't have any flecks. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll bring you guys back when I get her done. Give you guys a little update here. Watching paint dry. So there's the brackets, they're done, and the spacers that I had to make. And come over here. So I can't remember last time I updated this or not. So I tried to, let me put you down. Hang on, and let me put you there. There we go. So tried to use these, the high clearance U-bolt skid plates. The problem was when it came up, move you all the way in there, hopefully you can see it, it hit the bottom of the shock mount there. So we can't use these, so I had to go back to the original ones. And of course I had already buzzed the old U-bolts off, so I had to get some new U-bolts, put the old skid plate back on, just cut off the shock stud that was on the old ones, so it's nice and smooth there, so he's not going to catch there. So now the order of operation is just getting this axle torn down and we're going to pull this shaft, and then the new shafts are over there, which we already pressed the studs in. So we got two press bearings on those shafts, and then also the retaining collars, and there is a seal that goes in there. I'm not sure what the order is. Once we pull this axle out here, then I'll know the order of operation. I'm thinking the seal just sits in here at the entrance to the axle shaft itself, right there in the flange, but we'll see. So let me get this buzzed out and pulled out. Axle shaft is out. That's what it looks like if you guys have never seen one. This is a Dana 44 out of a Wagoneer that was stuffed put under the CJ, because the factory axle would have been an AMC 20, and it's known for its weak two-piece axle shafts and its thin wall tubing. Our axle is prone to bending. The only positive attribute of the AMC 20 is that it does have a fairly large ring and pinion, so it does have the strength there. But typically people swap out the axles. If they don't, they at least upgrade to one-piece axle shafts and get rid of the two-piece design. So there is the old axle there on the far left next to the two new ones, and as you can see, move you down a little bit, there's the bearing, retaining collar, and then the seal. So then we had to put that in reverse order. So let's get to the press. Gonna go handheld for a second. It's gonna be a little shaky, but I figured I'd show you. So we've got to, unfortunately, we've got this retainer here, and you can't get it off the old one without removing the bearing and the bearing retaining collar. So what you got to do is, referred to as a clamshell, or really the correct term is a bearing splitter. This is an OTC, which is a quality one, so if you guys are going to do any press work, don't chintz out and get good stuff here, because the last thing you want to do is have something explode on you. But hopefully you can see that. So we're going to grab the bottom of that bearing retainer, and we're going to press it off, and then we'll go down and we'll grab that race, and I'm sorry, the bearing itself, and pull it off. I could sit here with a cut-off wheel, because we don't need to save this stuff. At least I don't know. You may want to keep these as spare shafts, but we're going to go ahead and just press these off and not worry about buzzing them off and having the cut-off wheel go into the shaft and ruin the integrity of it. So that's our plan. So I figured I'd show you the manual way to do it. I am putting on everything on the new axle shaft here. So spacer plate, you got your seal, and then you got your new bearing, and here's your retaining collar. I'm putting that on. So if you don't have a press and you're trying to do an axle this way, then they do make, basically these are like a race, I guess you call these what, a drift, so, or maybe a punch. You can see what the ends look like, and what you do is you hammer on, make sure you hammer on that inner race. You don't hit the bearing, but you can drive it down manually, like I said, if you don't have a press. So it's a slow process, but you can drive this bearing down this way. So you guys get the idea. Like I said, it's slow, but I've already gotten that much in just a short time before I even turn the camera on. So that's one way to do it. We'll do it this way, and then the other way we'll do it on the 20-ton press. Over here at the press now, I'm gonna do it the easy way instead of the manual way, but I wanted to show you the manual way to let you guys know there's an alternative way to do it if you don't have a press. There you go, come on. And that white line there is where that lip is going to be, where the bearing is going to seat. So that's how far we got to go. And we are there, so easy breezy. Now I gotta do is press that retainer and collar on. Well, there's nothing spectacular. That is one done. I just put it together the opposite way I took it apart, you know, so it was just turning wrenches, so I didn't bother filming with it. So let's get over to the other side. I won't bother filming the other side, but that is easy breezy. Swapping out an axle, getting the bearings pressed on and the retainer pressed on. So I'll bring you guys back. We're getting close to getting this thing wrapped up for this guy. Well, just over here on the other side, getting this side wrapped up. Nothing special. You saw me do the passenger side axle, so I'm over here on the driver's side now, and got the shaft out, got it torn down, getting ready to press all the new stuff on the new one and slide this in, get this thing wrapped up, and Brian can come get this Jeep today so we can make our deadline. So I'll bring you guys back here momentarily, because we're gonna get this. Well guys, the Jeep is all wrapped up. I let Brian know it's ready. He's gonna come getting it in a little bit. So hope you guys enjoyed this. It's a little bit different, obviously. Not really any machining, so to speak, except I did turn those bushings on the lathe, but I didn't bother showing it because all I did was just keep the outer diameter of the 1144 stock, and I just, you know, punched a couple holes, 1/2 inch diameter in one and 5/8 the other, and parted them off to the lengths that I needed for the upper shock mount. So if you recall what we did, we built upper shock mounts and welded on lower shock mounts. He originally had 19 inches from center to center, and I was able to get 20 inches with the new shock mount and locating the lower one higher up out of the way from getting bashed from rocks. So he actually has an extra 1 inch of travel, which is good. And then you know, we pulled the old axle shafts out and put new ones in. Before we put new ones in, obviously we had to press new bearings, put a seal on there, press a bearing retainer on there, and they slid right on in. No issues there. It's just a little time consuming. Got to disassemble everything and put it back in. And we tried to use the high clearance U-bolt skid plates, but they would not fit. They interfered with the new shock mounts, so we did not get them installed. But I did have to put new U-bolts on the passenger side, because, you know, I cut those off, and they were replaced. So that is it. Got everything all wrapped up. So I appreciate you guys watching, and to all my new subscribers, hey, thanks for finding the channel. I really appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button down there. It doesn't cost anything. It gives me a thumbs up also. I appreciate it. That way I know you guys like this stuff. I always try to have a good variety if I can. And we're coming up on a year on YouTube, actually. Actually, it'll probably be a year by the time I actually post this video, but it's a week away. But this will be posted probably in a couple weeks, because right now I'm posting all the rotary welding table videos. So anyways, we'll see you guys. Thanks for watching.